Coming up ahead in this episode of Xtalks Spotlight.
It's important for us here at YPrime to focus on the experience, front to back, start to finish, right? So we want to offer solutions that really fit together. We offer one application that has 3 or 4 products that a patient can go through, and they won't even know that they're going through 3 to 4 products, right? We want to make the journey through a clinical trial as seamless as possible.
Hello, and welcome to Xtalks Spotlight, illuminating insights from subject matter experts and industry thought leaders. I'm Sonia Hunt. In this episode, we're asking the question, can prioritizing user experience reshape the future of clinical research?
Discover groundbreaking advancements in clinical trial technology that prioritize user-centric design, streamline processes, and enhance data quality, setting a new standard for patient-centric trials. In this Xtalks Spotlight edition, I sat down with Mike Hughes, Chief Product Officer at YPrime. He shared his practical approach to creating clinical trial technology that truly meets the needs of patients and site staff. With a deep commitment to user-centric design, Mike and his team are revolutionizing the clinical trial experience by developing intuitive, engaging solutions that streamline processes, reduce burdens, and improve data quality. So to start us off, what inspired your commitment to user-centric design in clinical trial technology, and how does it differ from traditional approaches?
It's a good question. It's been kind of a journey over my career and over the clinical trial industry evolution, right? So I joined clinical trials back in 2006, when technology really wasn't adopted. We were using Palm Pilots, modems, phone lines to send data. And at that point, there was no thought of user centricity. There was no thought of how to make experiences better. And as the world has evolved and the cell phone industry has evolved and the technology world has evolved, things have changed, right? We're no longer just trying to get patients in our app and out of our app as quickly as we can. We want to interact with that patient. We want to spend some time with them to make sure we're understanding what they're going through. So the only way to truly do that was to give them a better experience through technology, right? Make screens nicer, make the experience a little smoother, make it a little more modern feeling. So it's like they're in a typical application and not just a clinical trial application. So we pivoted back in 2020, really when COVID hit and things really went remote, we had to really reach out to patients. We made the decision to pivot and revamp our application, our technology platform as a whole, and really make it a more inviting experience and really make it something that people would spend more time in and put more thought into when they're putting their data in, right? Because we want true data. We don't want people to rush. We want them to take their time. We want them to really feel connected with our application and our product. So it was important for us to pivot and make sure that we kept the patient, the site users, the sponsor, really our end users at the forefront of this application to make it for them, not just for us. We can build things that we think are cool, but if people don't know how to use it and they don't enjoy using it, it's all for naught.
And can you walk us through the process of how your team collaborates with patients, site staff, and other stakeholders to understand their needs and design solutions that truly meet those needs?
A process. It does slow us down development-wise, which took me a little while to get used to. We now start with what we consider wireframes. So we'll think of something that we want to build that we've heard throughout the industry as a need. We'll put some ideas together. We'll put some whiteboarding exercises together and some wireframes together. Those wireframes are smoothed out a little bit. They're made a little bit pretty. And then we identify who our end user is, who the persona is that's going to be using this feature. And then we'll go out and we'll recruit people to talk to us. By recruit, I say we'll reach out to our partners, our sponsors, some site contacts we have. We have a really strong patient network that we can talk to. And we put these designs in front of them. And it's just that at first. It's just a design. It's just some things on a whiteboard, not interactive, not a prototype or anything. And we'll just get their reactions to the designs. We'll get some feedback from them. We'll ask them some questions. And then we'll take that feedback back in-house, incorporate it into the designs, get to a prototype stage and go back to them and say, okay, we heard what you said. Here's how we address that, and let them actually get their hands on the software. And we do that iteratively. a couple times. It's not just a one and done kind of thing. We don't stop until we start seeing scores above the nines, right? So if our first round is a 7, we'll go back and tweak and go back until it's above a 9. We won't put code, it's not pen to paper anymore, but we won't start writing code until that is above a 9 and we feel like we have a really useful tool that we're putting in people's hands.
Now, how has your work on initiatives like the reimagined tender swollen joint count eCOA assessment and the glucometer to eCOA integration impacted the patient and site staff experience?
Those were really important tools, and they were really fun exercises because wasn't our first jump into those types of tools, but it was the latest in some of the tools that we're building, and they were really targeted, right? They weren't very broad features that are going to be used in a couple different indications. They were really targeted towards type 1, type 2 diabetics, weight management systems, and the tender swollen joint count was really in the endocrinology field, rheumatoid arthritis, some really focused therapeutic areas. So it allowed us to really focus in on the people that we talked to. For the glucometry, again, like I said, we went through our typical design process, but then we partnered with a company that got us in front of type 1 and type 2 diabetics, which allowed us to get these tools in their hands to get their feedback. It's people living with this disease every day, people that go through this exercise every day of pricking their finger, reading their blood sugar, recording their values, classifying their values. We wanted to make sure that because these tools were so specific to those indications, that we built a tool exactly tailored to those indications. So it was really interesting to see our software get into the hands of people living with these diseases every day, give feedback, and really build a tool that helps them get through them quickly. It's the same thing with the tender swollen joint count. That's a very arduous tool. There are, at some times, 65 joints that you have to assess. And when you assess 65 joints, it's for tender, swollen, anything else. So there's 5 different classifications for these 65 joints. We had to get to the people that do it, right? We had to put our software in the joint assessor's hands, watch them interact with a patient, watch them interact with the scribe that they have sitting in the room, and just really learn how the interactions work and how the process and the day-to-day actions are, because that's the only way you can really build software that fits into their day-to-day lives.
So, your vision for a unified YPrime app is breaking down silos and transforming the clinical trial landscape. What benefits does this integrated approach offer, and how do you see it evolving in the future?
Yeah, it's hard nowadays because, I mentioned I joined this industry in 2006, and since then, technology has really ramped up. And everybody thinks that they can solve a problem with a new piece of technology, which means there's probably 50 types of technology that a site, a patient, a sponsor have to deal with on a day-to-day basis on each trial that they're working with. All these different vendors, all these different products. It's important for us here at YPrime to focus on the experience, front to back, start to finish, right? So we want to offer solutions that really fit together. We offer one application that has 3 or 4 products that a patient can go through, and they won't even know that they're going through 3 to 4 products, right? We want to make the journey through a clinical trial as seamless as possible from the technology perspective, because we know they're going through a lot on a day-to-day basis, right? And we don't want to be that pain point within their day. So you can start with our platform and consent and roll right into eCOA, get some patient engagement, touch some other products without knowing that you've transitioned from one to the next. And that's what's really important for us. Minimizing burden, minimizing pain points, easing patients through this process, this journey that they have to go through. It's not a choice for them.
And how do you foster a culture of collaboration and empowerment within your teams, and how does this contribute to driving innovation?
I learned a long time ago that I'm never going to be the smartest person in the room, right? If I am, I'm in the wrong room, because if I'm the one driving all decisions, there's probably going to be some wrong decisions made. And that's it. That's the mindset that we take with the whole team. Nobody's ever the smartest person in the room. Nobody's ever 100% right with something that we're trying to build. It's a very collaborative effort. Everybody gets their opinions on the table, and then we figure out which one's best. So I feel like because people have a voice in the process, that gives them the empowerment to say, hey, I really had something to do with this. And when you see things pop up on LinkedIn and you see these press releases around the new features that the team's building, they take pride. You see them comment on that, say, hey, I had something to do with that. And, they go home and They know that they made a difference in somebody's life. So that's really what we're pushing for, because we know that, people are going through it in these trials. And if we can have a little piece of making their day easier, it helps us sleep a little better at night. And I think that's what keeps the team pushing forward and keeps driving them.
Okay, as you pioneer the application of AI and machine learning in clinical trials, what are some of the key opportunities and challenges you see in ensuring these technologies deliver real-world impact?
It's a mixed bag when you start talking about AI out there in the world, right? Because people get nervous that we're trying to replace humans with some things. And that's not the approach we take here at YPrime. We don't think AI will ever replace a human within our process. We think AI is going to enable humans to do things better, to do things a little faster, a little easier. And that's our target with AI and how we think it can be incorporated into the trial process. We think that, there's a lot of arduous tasks that happen every day. If we can cue people that things are going to happen, if we can help them get through the process, if we can figure out their tendencies and kind of surface the information that they need when they come into our platform, so they don't have to think too much, they don't have to click around too much to figure things out. We think that's the benefit of AI in clinical trials. It's never going to replace a true person in a trial. It's just going to help that person get through whatever they're trying to get through.
Now, how do you believe the work you and your team are doing at YPrime is contributing to the broader goal of advancing human health and bringing new treatments to patients faster?
The biggest impact that we can have on a trial at YPrime is to get that trial done faster, right? It's all about time to market. It's all about getting these compounds and these drugs through a clinical trial, proving their worth, getting them approved and getting them to market. So the faster we can get patients recruited into our platform, enrolled, randomized, all the way through the treatment process, and get them to the end of treatment, get that drug approved, that's the best thing we can do. We're not trying to come up with groundbreaking technology. A lot of the things we do are just asking questions, collecting information, putting information in about a patient. So we just want our software to be easy. We want people to be able to get through it quickly and not be a burden for them, so that we can get the data to sponsors as fast as possible, as clean as possible, and they can submit it and get it approved. If we work on trials that never get to market, if we slow down a drug getting to market, we're in the wrong industry, because our job here is to make sure that we are enabling sponsors to find out if drugs work and get them in people's hands so that they can help them.
And to wrap up, what advice would you give to other leaders in the life sciences industry looking to put patients and users at the center of their innovation efforts?
The biggest thing I learned in my career is that I have to be able to hear that my baby's ugly, right? So everybody wants to build beautiful software. You're not always right. You can't get comfortable with what you're putting out there. You have to get challenged. You have to listen. You have to be able to push yourself and try some new stuff. New things are going to fail. It's inevitable in the technology world, but you have to keep pushing to change the way things work. You have to keep pushing to make software easier, to make these processes easier. There's a lot of red tape in the clinical trial industry, and there's a lot of rules that you have to follow. But that doesn't mean that you can't think outside the box, improve processes, make people's day-to-day tasks a little bit easier. That's all we're here for, right? We can't get stuck in a rut of the things that we put out. We have to just keep on thinking, looking at bottlenecks, addressing bottlenecks, making people's lives a little bit easier.
Well, thank you very much, Mike, for speaking with us today. We really appreciate your time and insights.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. Thanks for taking the time.
We look forward to learning more about YPrime's work in transforming clinical trial technology. Thank you all for joining us for this Xtalks Spotlight feature. We hope you enjoyed the discussion.